morning drive on 103.5 One at the FM, keeping your morning engaging as we take you through the smoothest ride on radio from 7 a.m. to 9:30 a.m.
Yes, guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching from. Please like, subscribe, and share, right? Check this out. It's on Amazon.com, hip hop and Igbo. Call Shomayo Spectrum, Martin Defines OTC. Alright?
From Monday to Friday from 7 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. on the morning drive. 103.5
Good morning and welcome to Abona, the 103.5 FM today, the 24th day of April 2024. Today is Wednesday and the time is 2 minutes past the hour of 7. It's time for newspaper headlines on Abona, the 103.5 FM. This morning, we are going to take you through the news making the headlines on Nigerian newspapers. But before we do that, let's go for a short break. When we come back, we'll continue on the stories making the headlines. Please stay with us.
Do you know that you have the right to quality broadcasting? The National Broadcasting Commission says any person, group of persons, or organization aggrieved by the content of a broadcast or the conduct of a broadcast station may lodge a complaint to the station and all right to the Director General, National Broadcasting Commission, number 20, Ibrahim Taiwo Street, Asokoro, Abuja, or send a mail via info@nbc.gov.ng. Please ensure that the complaint includes name of the broadcast station, title of the program, date and time of broadcast, and essence of the complaint. Also, remember to include your name, address, telephone number, email, and append your signature. Note that the complaint must reach the NBC within 14 days of the queried broadcast. NBC, your right to quality broadcasting.
You're welcome back to newspaper headlines on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. This morning, we are going to take you through the news, making the headlines on Nigerian newspapers on The Guardian, Leadership, Vanguard, Punch, Sun, Daily Post, The Nation, This Day, and if time permits, we're also going to take a look at the Nigerian Tribune newspapers. Remember that you can become part of the conversation by sending your reactions via SMS or WhatsApp messages on 080 96661035. You can as well join us on Facebook as we're live at Ebona, the 103.5 FM. Drop your comments on the comment section of the live video. You can stream us online via mixlr.com/gistfm. I am Martin. Let's get started with the Guardian newspaper this morning. EFCC says Emefiele printed 684.5 million naira with 18.9 billion naira in new suit. Pursue Tinubu's agenda on food security, minister tells researchers. Copyright Commission dedicates World Book Day to Soyinka. 15 million children face hunger over high food prices, says a report. Land disputes account for 30% of 27 million cases yearly, CSO says. Group 6 policy on reading culture. Fraud case. Court orders EFCC to serve Bello through cancel. Blackout cripples business activities in Taraba, Gombe, Adamawa. PSN warns against substandard drugs, makes case for accessibility. How NDFF confab will boost economy. SGIP advocates policy reforms for saving groups. Oil drilling host community tax NMPCL on CSR. EFCC intensifies manhunt for Bello, detains Sirica, freezes 300 accounts. Niger donates data capturing equipment to immigration. Ganduje summons Ayedatiwa, 15 Guba aspirants over Ondo APC primary outrage. Anxiety as Ihedioha. Others quit PDP. Court sacks Imo Party chairman. NSIB, NCAA probe Dana Air runway incident in Lagos. Man napped for defiling landlady's 13-year-old daughter in Rivers. Software engineer bags alive jail for defiling neighbor's daughter. Outcry over sexual assault on Anambra women, girls by suspected headers. Police nab vigilante leader, 3 others for armed robbery in Rivers. LASBCA begins implementation of tribunal report on collapsed 21-story Ikoyi building. Army dismiss 2 soldiers for alleged theft at Dangote Refinery, Lagos. Tension as security agent kills student, injures 2 others in Oyo community. Nollywood actress Kate Henson calls for improved immunization. PHCs in Bauchi. Bullying. Federal government sets up 7-member probe panel. Ohaneze urges Obi to support Lagos Calabar Coastal Road. Domestic investors lead equity market by 64% in March. Kogi Assembly wants Yahaya Bello's name removed from EFCC wanted list. Niger Delta Development Commission Managing Director promises quarterly stakeholders engagement for sustainable regional development. University of Nigeria Nsukka suspends a lecturer for sexually assaulting students. EFCC accuses Bello of spending $720,000 state fund on child's school fees. EFCC freezes more than 300 accounts over suspicious forest flows. G60 lawmakers condemn Rivers State Assembly's override of governor's assent. I will resign if Yahaya Bello escapes persecution. EFCC chairman vow. Nigeria Air. Sirica in EFCC custody over alleged 8 billion naira fraud. Scholarship. KB releases 309.5 million naira for 86 students in India, Egypt. Dangote slashes diesel price to 940 naira. Aviation 4 now 980 naira. Flutterwave set for IPO. Court to deliver ruling in Yahaya Bello's application to vacate arrest warrant May 10th. Presidency promises credit facility to purchase made in Nigeria products. Court rejects Yahaya Bello's request for discharge of arrest order. Eco Electricity Distribution Company apologizes to customers in Lagos, Ogun over service disruption. Again, Dangote further crashes price of diesel. Aviation 4. Dana aircraft veers off runway. Passengers crew unharmed. Lead British school students bullied in viral video. Not my daughter. Daniel Douala. Bullying. Lead British school to discipline students in viral videos. Adamawa, 10,000 naira monthly allowance for core members aside NYSC management. Lagos FRSC records 111 road crashes, 17 deaths in 3 months. EFCC attempting to humiliate Yahaya Bello over alleged 84 billion naira fraud. Northern Group. Court dismisses suit seeking disqualification. Awards a 500,000 naira fine. Court dismisses suit seeking disqualification. Awards 500,000 naira fine. No Nigerian denied access to Chinese supermarket, says Chinese chamber. How to defeat terrorism in Africa by Tinubu. Inspector General of Police chops for 100 billion naira police housing fund. World Earth Day group to save Africa $70 billion on pollution. Oborowore laments about state of Niger Delta as Niger Delta Development Commission boss commits to region's development. Bayelsa Guba Tribunal reserves judgment in Silva's petition against the recapitalization. Issuers banks compete for scarce funds under new NACOM. Inspector General of Police counters Tinubu says Nigeria not matured, ready for state police. And that's the much we can take from the Guardian newspaper this morning. From the Guardian newspaper, we'll flip over to leadership newspaper. Kebbi, Sokoto, Zamfara children lack access to social services. UNICEF. Nigerian Army begins soldiers' home ownership scheme. Sanda activists cautions against smear campaign. Sanda activists cautions against smear campaign. MPC boss applauds work on disaster recovery center. Group alleges plot to demarket Tinubu in North. Tomato scarcity looms as a pest infests Kanu farms. KB, we've taken this. Nigerian Army, same story. Kaduna Union deplores continuous bandits attack in Biringbari. Federal government recovers 57 billion naira debt from 10 ministries, departments, agencies. Northern groups tackle Marafa over Tinubu Matawale. Poisonous cows, Kwara buries confiscated meat. State police, experts seek proper legal framework, disagree with Inspector General of Police. Governor Aliyu promises core members enhance welfare. APC state chairman pass vote of confidence on Kanduje. Federal government to partner Borno government on food security. Nutritious food initiative. Chetima seeks religious traditional leaders support. Group 6 policy to boost reading culture among children. Anxiety over artificial intelligence in the workplace, majoring in the minor. Bumper harvest on NGX as companies propose dividend. Bleeding economy. Stakeholders want stiffer penalties for oil tips. UNN suspends lecturer caught pants down. Military deserves Nigerians' understanding of operations. GOC. State Police. I did not speak for Inspector General of Police, AIG Okolo. CBN's fresh dollar sales to BDCs boost naira to 1,250 naira per dollar. Dana Air. NCAA identifies causes. NSIB begins probe. Federal government to establish solar plants in 25 states. EFCC quizzes ex-minister Sirika over Nigeria Air. PDP depletes in Southeast as Ihedioha. Others dump party. We can't go after others if Yahaya Bello is not prosecuted. EFCC chairman. Again, Dangote slashes diesel aviation for prices to 940 naira, 980 naira. Amendment of Rivers local government area law. Enforceable, unenforceable recipe for anarchy. Amendment of Rivers local government area law. Unenforceable recipe for anarchy. Ugoshinyere. Woman killed in Lagos collapsed building. MFLA printed 684.5 million naira with 18.9 billion naira. EFCC says in fresh charges. Governor Fubara reshuffles cabinet. Reps summons minister for disobeying Tinubu's directive on boss dissolution. Why we can't review Rivers caretaker committee list. PDP. How ex-Governor Bello declined EFCC invitation for interrogation. Ulukoyede. Sokoto government sacks 15 district heads. Federal government 25 states I 3 GWs. Electricity from solar energy. Troops kill 2 terrorists, rescue 5 kidnapped victims in Zamfara, Katsina, University of Nigeria. We've taken this. EFCC freezes 300 accounts over suspicious forest deals. Bullying. Student of Abuja's school apologizes to victim. Public. Comic actor Baba Ijesha asks appeal court to void conviction. Author Ndi Fereke Ukbobong makes his book available free for readers. EFCC arrests ex-minister Sirika over alleged 8 billion naira fraud. NSIB begins a probe of Dana aircraft runway excursion at Lagos Airport. Security agent kills 1, injures 2 Laotech students. Oyebanji's wife urges Ekiti women to embrace vegetable farming. Police arrest vigilante leader, 3 others, for vandalizing telecom mast in Rivers. That's the most we can take from the leadership newspaper this morning. Still on the stories making the headlines on Nigerian newspapers this morning from the leadership newspaper, we'll flip over to Vanguard newspaper. Lecturer killed by kidnappers. We have informed his family. Babcock management. Ukwama Ewu. Community declares 17 soldiers killed along Focados rivers. CBN slashes BDC exchange rate to 1,036.3 per dollar. State Police Ehidero says is desirable, warns of abuse. Passengers overpower bandits in Zamfara, kill 1, seize 2 AK-47 rifles. Ex-Imo governor Ihedioha resigns from PDP. How Remi Tinubu saved me from media blackmail, Adeleke. 2023, Peter Obi and I never believed in ideologies of Labour Party, doing Okupe. I want to appear in court, but I'm afraid of arrest, Yahaya Bello. Katsina, APC, sets nomination form fees for local government elections. Ogun, Agro Cargo International Airport to commence flight operations soon, Abiodun. $120,000 from government accounts to pay Shai's school fees, EFCC. Abuja British school shut down over bullying, assault of student. Still on the stories making the headlines on the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Transcorp plans diversification of services to drive revenue growth. Recapitalization will empower banks to lend more to economy, CIBN. CBN slashes BDC exchange rate to 1,036.3 naira per dollar. 200 billion naira intervention fund. Federal government begins disbursement to MSMEs, manufacturers, FX liquidity. CBN sells $10,000 to 1,583 BDCs at 1,021 naira rate. And that's the much we can take from the Vanguard newspaper this morning. From the Vanguard newspaper, we'll flip over to the Punch newspaper. High Commission to sanction workers barring Nigerians from Indian school. Air Nigeria. Sirika goes on trial for 8 billion naira fraud. Defilement. Court reserves judgment on Baba Ijesha's appeal. Copyright Commission names Shoyinka's birthday National Reading Day. PDP to elect 25 state chairmen July 13th. Lagos recorded 111 road crashes in 3 months. FRSC releasing Binance executive from custody risky. EFCC insists. Yahaya Bello used Kogi's $720,000 for child's tuition. EFCC share. Ganduje gets 37 APC chairman's backing. Says suspension, African magic. How Para saved residents from consuming poisonous beef. Finance Ministry recovered 57 billion naira ministries, department, agencies, debt. Director. Nigeria eyes a fresh $10 billion investment in oil and gas sector. Kaduna nurses, midwives abandon hospitals over poor welfare. Nigeria risks losing world's second largest ginger producer. Senator warns. Bullying. Abuja school shot victim may sue. CBN releases more dollars as naira weakens to $1,300 per 300 naira per dollar. CBN releases more dollars as naira weakens to 1,300 naira per dollar. Niger alerts residents to impending flooding. NDE trains 50 Gombe unemployed youths in Agric. Gombe. NAPTIP recovers 2 children trafficked to Abuja, Lagos. Plateau residents doubt government readiness to provide buses. Gunmen kill Nasarawa monarch's police escort, abduct wife, aid. Government plans to sanitize mining activities in Bauchi. Headers interested in ranching should buy land. Obaseki. President's wife decries alarming school dropout rate. Court sacks Fiditi monarch. Functional refineries will solve forest crisis. Oborowore. US spent $15 million on peace building in North. Embassy. Cabinet members oppose suspension of Sokoto Yoruba monarch. Group raises alarm over online kidnapping gang. Lagos state government traffic cameras detected 850,000 violations. Commissioner. Boronu seeks federal government support for irrigation farming. Bauchi assures intending Hajj pilgrims of adequate welfare. That's the much we can take from the Punch newspaper this morning. Remember that you can become part of the conversation on 08096661035. You can as well join us on Facebook at Ebonade 103.5 FM. Drop your comments on the comment section of the live video. And still on the stories making the headlines on Nigerian newspapers from the Nigerian newspapers this morning. So from the Punch newspaper, we'll flip over to the Sun newspaper. EFCC confirms the Sun exclusive. Arrest ex-aviation minister, Sirika. NICOM boss charges Africa insurance regulators to prioritize integrity, human capital development. Tinubu approves 20% of palliatives school feeding program to go through religious and traditional institutions. EFCC confirms, we've taken this. Banks lost over 8 billion naira in 9 months to Yahoo boys. EFCC chairman. PDP moves to review Rivers Caretaker Committee. FCCPC summons Abuja Chinese supermarket operator over alleged racial practices. Terrorism. Tinubu calls for regional standby force. Don't discriminate against Igbo tenants. IPOB warns landlords. Student loan. Obasanjo, Vice Chancellor, seek inclusion of private varsity students. Make Abia forensic audit report public. Ibazu DSOT. Hands off Kano's case. IPOB tells Justice Nyako. PDP moves to review Rivers Caretaker Committee. 2024. Run issue-based campaign. PDP candidate Igodalo. Tax co-contestants. Ex-Governor Ihedioha. Okigwe zonal leaders quit PDP. Ondo APC. Giwa Daramola hails Aiyedatiwa's victory. APC administration has become a nightmare to Nigerians. Olafeso, ex-Southwest PDP National Vice Chair. Wabote's 30 billion naira budget pardon allegation, baseless. Lukbobri. Tinubu approves 20%. We've taken this. Rivers hoppers sign Unisemeka ahead of ball. The Naira abuse challenge, food insecurity, and rising food prices. Lamentations of FCT fast food vendors. Despair, pain in Ogun communities. Enugu community on its knees. Ekiti bets at the red hub to provide jobs, empowerment for youths, widows. That's the much we can take from the Sun newspaper this morning. Still on the stories making the headlines on Nigerian newspapers this morning from the Sun newspaper, we'll flip over to the Daily Post newspaper. Jigawa Assembly constitutes committee to review local government electoral law. Troops eliminate 2 terrorists in Zamfara. Minister inaugurates 24-man committee to review MPTF Act. Gaps in girls' education prompted the formation of Alternative High School. Oluremi Tinubu Ibrahim Omobore demands cancellation of APC primaries in Ondo. We are investigating ex-aviation minister Hadi Sirika, EFCC. Tinubu committed to uplifting Nigerians out of poverty, VP Shetima. Group knocks Inspector General of Police for opposing establishment of state police. Nutrition top priority in our food security agenda, Vice President Shetima. There have been casualties. There did have been casualties. EFCC boss on why he failed to arrest Yahaya Bello. Functional refineries can solve Nigeria's forest crisis. Oborowore, Deji, Adeyaju threatens lead British international school over bullying of Nautirima Buwala. Still on the stories making the headlines on Nigerian newspapers this morning from the Daily Post newspaper, we'll flip over to the Nation newspaper. CBN sells $10,000 to each BDC at 1,021 naira per dollar. EFCC arrests Sirika, slams Emefiele with fresh charges. No going back on Yahaya Bello's prosecution. Nigeria eyes $10 billion investment in oil and gas. Ihedioha, PDP, Rice Party leaders. Ondo 2024, Jimo Ibrahim, Omogbore file appears against result. Challenges facing climate early warning system by Nimet boss. First lady, alternative high school for girls ready in 6 months. Senate panel backs 18-year minimum entry age into tertiary institutions. Ekiti excited over next node to generate power. Still on the stories making the headlines on the Nation newspaper this morning. Tinubu approves routing of 20% palliatives through religious traditional leaders. One killed as youths burn houses in Imo. Court rules on Binance officials' bail application May 17th. NCAA, NSIB probe Dana Air over runway excursion in Lagos. Don't increase walls of population if you can't improve your remuneration. Renu Omokri tells men. Tension as a security agent allegedly kills student, injures 2 in Ogbomosho. Tinubu reassures Niger Delta region of development. Peter Obi and I don't share Labour Party's ideologies. Okupe, we won't succumb to self-serving politicians. Pressure, says Fubara. That's the much we can take from the Nation newspaper this morning. You are listening to newspaper headlines on Ebona at the 103.5 FM. We will now go for a short break. When we come back, we'll continue on the stories making the headlines on Nigerian newspapers. Please stay with us.
Join Divine Galilee Christ Assembly Mission Ogidi on their weekly activities for your undiluted word of God, deliverance, and unlimited blessings. Every Tuesday, prophetic service and deliverance, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Every Thursday, counseling, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Every Friday, night of vengeance, 9 p.m. till dawn. Venue, permanent site, former Buzo bus stop, Edoma Estate, Ogidi. Phone 0806 797-3760 or 0813-699-4615. For Asaba branch, every Monday is counseling 8 a.m. to 12 noon. Wednesdays, prophetic service and deliverance 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Sundays, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Venue, number 5, Andy Oko Street, Bonsac, behind the Seat of Wisdom School, Asaba. Phone 0806-595-2899. Hosts, Mommy Blessing, aka Anugo, the General Overseer. Come and experience the light of God.
How best can we talk about the challenges we are having on our streets? Our community, our society in general, street report. If we do not address these challenges on Ebona FM, who will? As the happenings around us get as complicated as they can be. Street report is here to make sense of it all. Street report is causing social change across your streets. In your community, Street Report is here with hardcore journalism to get to the roots of our problem. Why don't you join me, Martin Ifanshu, SR number the first, every Friday, 4:30 p.m. on Ebona 103.5 FM as Street Reports unfolds in your face. On Martin Ebona the corner 24/7, 24/7.
Man is a political animal. That's why we all have our views on politics. Political View comes to you at Ebona 103.5 FM with Martin Ifanshu every Monday, 3 o'clock p.m. to 4:30 p.m. and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. It's all about the day-to-day activities in the Nigerian political space. Views of political actors from various political parties on political process. Views of labor leaders, and most importantly, your views. Views of the common Nigerian. Tune in to Ebona 103.5 FM or you join online via mixlr.com/gistfm every Monday and Saturday. What are your political views? Keep a date.
Family is the foundation of the society. Now, the Never 103.5 FM, wherever I got it,
Papa, Mama, na ụmụaka maka ịmata ihe gbasara ezinụlọ sonyere classic lady.
Classic lady.
Ebona 103.5
FM. No girl be amazing no. Canada Garage every Tuesday na Friday, 3 to 4 p.m.
Ụmụnne shaka shaka. Akụkọ ifo, ilu Igbo nakwa abụ bụ ihe eji mara ndị Igbo. Ya mere Igbo ji kwuo okwu sị na ọnwa tibe iji agụba ngwụrọ kpatara na akata ụka dị onye ọrịa mma ọsị ka ewelitekwa ya isi. N'ihe ndị a niile ka onye ọka mmụta Maazị Chinua Achebe jiri kwuo sị n'ihe anyị ji apụta egwu ọnwa abụghị na onye ọbụla nọ na be ya agaghị ahụ ọnwa, kama na ọ bụ ka anyị nọrịa nnọrịkọta nke ụmụnne. sonyere Maazị Prince Onyekachukwu Oreti Shaka Shaka n'ebe ọ na-adị FM 103.5 kwa ụbọchị Fraịde ọbụla ma ọ kụọ elekere 7 nke uhuruchi n'oge akụkọ ifo, ilu Igbo nakwazi abụ Igbo. Inugo akụkọ mbe nwanịga, inugo akụkọ agụ na ọsa. Bịa ndị nta akara, ndị prima nakwa ndị sekọndịrị. Sonyere Shaka Shaka n'ebe ọ na-adị FM 103.5 n'oge akụkọ ifo kwa ụbọchị Fraịde ma ọ kụọ elekere 7 nke uhuruchi. Ka akọrọ gị akụkọ ifo, ka a jụọ ajụjụ, ka ịzakwa. Ịzata ajụjụ akpọrọ gị aka, mana ọ bụrụ na ịzataghị apịawa gị azụ. Ịma ka o si adị n'ebe ọ na-adị 103.5 FM oge akụkọ ifo. Ka anyị nọrọ ya akụkọ ifo, ilu Igbo ya nakwa abụ Igbo n'ebe ọ na-adị FM 103.5. Oke ihe mmụta dị n'ime ya.
Chichi ya abịa, chichi ya abịa, chichi ya abịa.
You're welcome back to Newspaper Headlines on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. Remember that you can become part of the conversation by sending your reactions via SMS or WhatsApp messages on 080-9666-1035. You can as well join us on Facebook as we are live at Ebona, the 103.5 FM. Drop your comments on the comment section of the live video. Stream us online via mixlr.com/gistfm. We are on to this day newspaper. Federal government launches new fiscal incentives to revamp oil, gas sector, aims to attract $10 billion investment. Olukoyede, EFCC went above and beyond to give Yahaya Bello fair hearing. E-payment transactions surged by 89.3% to 234 trillion naira in Q1 2024. CBN approves a fourth tranche of FX sale to BDCs at 1,021 naira per dollar. Freezes over 300 bank accounts in move to further save naira. Oborowore, functional refineries can solve Nigeria's forest crisis. Presidential committee secures concessionary pricing for mobility CNG from NMDPRA 2024. NUGA ASR Africa constructs a 250 million naira sports complex for University of Jos. Domestic players dominate transactions at equities maker by 86.23% as a foreign participation wilts. ISO-FM Academy AFMPN partner to enhance skills of FM professionals. Group calls for reprioritization of funds from coastal road to electricity infrastructure. Group calls for reprioritization of funds from coastal road to electricity infrastructure. UBA hosts diplomats, business leaders at World Bank Summit in Washington. Nzekwe, quantity surveyors are custodians of efficiency, ensure timely project delivery within budget. Stanbic IBTC Bank rewards 70 more customers in draw. First Bank Holdings announces Olusegun Alebiosu, acting chief executive of First Bank Nigeria. Edun, Nigeria secures $2.25 billion World Bank credit. Failure of intelligence gathering in Nigeria. Akpabio's sycophantic second-term bid for Tinubu. Torturing of civilians to death by military. Reactions to recent positive signals in the Nigerian economy. Turning a blind eye. Ondo 2024 Guba intrigues as Aida Tiwa emerges APC candidate. Financial inclusion, evaluating Nigeria's position and role of financial institutions. Binatun Africa. Still on the stories making the headlines on Nigerian newspapers this morning. From this day newspaper, we'll flip over to Nigerian Tribune. EFCC freezes 300 forex accounts to prevent further naira depreciation. Ulukoyede Olodobo title is traditional, not political. Ejemo tells critics. Olodobo title is traditional, not political. Ejemo tells critics. NMPC partner unlock 12,000 barrel per day production from Awuba unit field. Federal government to support investors with data to boost mining sector. Alake. Governor Aliyu sacks 15 Sokoto district heads over insubordination, land racketeering. EFCC to arraign EMFLE for allegedly printing 684.5 million naira notes with 18.9 billion naira. Focus on other forms of books for knowledge. MPA urges members. Baba Ijesha appeals a sexual assault offense. Niger Delta youth pass a vote of confidence on Tinubu. Niger Delta Commission. Niger Delta Development Commission leadership. Niger Delta youth pass vote of confidence on Tinubu. Niger Delta Development Commission leadership. ECWA expresses dismay over high level of insecurity in Nigeria. Fubara reshuffles cabinet. Prioritize. Invest heavily in data security. Expert urges federal government. BPE commits to payment of power sector workers severance package. Alleged disobedience. House Committee on Stills summons minister. That's the much we can take from the Nigerian Tribune this morning. That will also mark the conclusion of all that we have for you on this particular edition of Newspaper Headlines on Airborne Ade 103.5 FM. We'll now flip over to our WhatsApp portal for reactions. On our WhatsApp portal this morning, we have this message coming from Chinedu Oneka Pastor, and he says, Tinubu is talking about how to overcome terrorism in Africa. A man that haven't overcome terrorism in his own country is talking and giving advice on how to conquer terrorism in the whole Africa. Audio. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have this message is coming from Maluto Patrick from Munteje. It is very worrisome, disturbing, and appalling that a lot of Anambra State women and girls are brazenly attacked, harassed, and raped on daily basis in the state and go scot-free. If this kind of man, inhumanity to man, is allowed to continue unabated, it means that we are all that all we hear about adequate security in Anambra State is a mere noise. I am therefore calling on our Governor, Professor Charles Soludo, to rise to the occasion to bring to an end the activities of these suspected Fulani herdsmen. Otherwise, there will come a time when Anambra State and other states in the southeast will be worse than Zamfara and other states in the northwest, but God forbid. This is coming from Waloto Patrick from Munteje. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have this message. It's coming from Honorable Obasi, aka Authority is More Than Power. He says, former Central Bank of Nigeria Governor MFLA matter is a welcome development, but it is not the major problem of Nigeria today. And also, when this crime was committed by the former CBN Governor MFLA, he was serving under an executive arm president of Nigeria and legislative arm like senators and Federal House of Representatives in Nigeria, and they could not be able to probe MFLA then. Please, EFCC should stop deceiving the citizens of Nigeria. If they are serious, let them arrest Mr. President Speaker of the House of Senate, the Senate President on seat, when this crime must have been committed by MFLA, because I'm seeing this issue as joined conspiracy by executive and restrictive arm and CBN Governor MFLA. And remember, we have seen 99, which is 100. My God, may God help Nigeria from all this calamity going on. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have this message. It's coming from Honorable Osakwe, and he says the terrorists are now building their own factory in the forest. It is now clear that the bandits have come to stay. The Boko Haram members that are surrendering are disguising for a new strategy. The nation is now the dilemma, as there is no tangible plan to ameliorate the plight of suffering poor Nigerians. All we need in this nation now is to settle for foreign experts, okay, to settle for foreign experts that will overhaul all the nukes and decay uh, currencies of this sinking. Okay, and he says, okay, we are watching as things unfold. And he continued and says, Israel and Ukraine fight the the war that weren't the world liberation against the blood-sucking jihadis. It is imperative and pertinent that they are given the needed assistance and no more moved by the EFCC exploits as they are not to fight crime. Rather, they are there for inducement. Did dear president not was he not able to discuss all this brigandage and the rampage being perpetrated to the nation by unending tormenting of our citizens by bandits, kidnappers, and terrorists, or is he only there to wine and dine? Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have this message is coming from T-Man from Ikem Ifite, Nando. And it says, suspension of a lecturer by the University of Nigeria and Soka for sexually assaulting a female student is a move in good direction. At least, it will serve as a deterrent to other defaulting lecturers. If suspension doesn't work, then imprisonment will be the alternative punishment. If 15 Okay, it says 15 million children facing hunger because of high price of foodstuff is very disheartening, and the government should do something urgently to save the souls of these children. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have this message is coming from Boniface Chidume John Paul. Thank you so much for your appreciation, and we'll continue to do this to bring you up to speed, on the happenings in our country. Now we have this message is coming from Engineer Ebuka Joshua Dawson. He's joining us from 33, and it says Tinubu approves 20% of palliatives school feeding program to go through religious and traditional institutions is a welcome development. Federal government should kindly intervene. Okay, federal government should kindly intervene as anxieties in Abia communities over erosion menace as rainy season sets in. Engineer Ebuka Joshua Dawson joining us from 33. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have this message. It is coming from Akidi Amoke, Onyanambana Umunachi, and it says insecurity and crimes is on top of the list in Nigeria. Please let the federal and state governments put head together to tackle it. From Akidi Amoke, Onyanambana Umunachi. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now we have this message. It's coming from Pauline Wizu from Onitsha, and it says the proof of former aviation minister is timely and good. Kudos to EFCC share. Pauline Wizu from Onitsha. Thank you so much. We have this message. It's coming from John Ume from Okozu, and he says, please let the EFCC be allowed to do their job. Yahaya Bello must know that there is always a day of reckoning, and his own has just started, and nobody will stop his prosecution. Also, Emeki Hedoha should know that any day he defects to APC, the party that stole his mandate in broad daylight, it will mark the end of his political career, no matter the promise they are giving him. John Ume, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We'll now flip over to our Facebook portal for reactions. On our Facebook portal, we have this message. It's coming from Dr. Mrs. Mma Olebara from Owerri, and she says, enough of these foreign travels. The president needs to travel to all the states of Nigeria and find out by himself how things are faring. Chetima telling us that their commitment to food security, not mere rhetorics. We have had enough of this and want government to be proactive as the people are suffering, excruciating pains, and dying slowly. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning, Dr. Mrs. Mma Olebara. We have this message. It's coming from Chumuba Ume, and he says, federal government recovery saga, federal government to recover this type of huge amounts without having seen it in commodity and cost of living and hardship is still lingering. And he says, I know that all this money are still in the federal government's account and we are still borrowing. It's unfair as a million children are in danger of starving. And Anambra State saga, the way Fulani are, herdsmen are suspected, raping our women in Anambra is highly condemnable by a well-meaning Nigerian terrorist saga. Terrorists have come to stay in Nigeria and Africa at large, and to defeat them is to fish them out among themselves before going out to fight them. And for EFCC saga, what the EFCC chairman said is sacrosanct, and the leader must stand by his word and live by example and experience. We are watching as things unfold. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We also have this message coming from the youngest Prayo. Good morning to you too. Also on our Facebook portal, Timan Nando Chukwu Kelue. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for the appreciation. We also have a message coming from also Francis Nnamani from Amagunze in Enugu State, and he says the former governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, should submit himself for investigation if actually he has no skeleton in his cupboard. Our leaders should learn to lead by example. May God help us. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. On our WhatsApp portal this morning, we have this message. It's coming from Valentine Edene from Mumpo, and it says, if Niger Delta youths pass vote of confidence on Tinubu, does that mean Mr. Tinubu is a good leader? Some people are influenced by poverty, which they woke up one day, praise any leader just to get food in return. Nigeria is too old to handle like a kid. Valentine Edene from Mumpo, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Well, this is the spot where we'll call it today on this particular edition of Newspaper Headlines on Airborne at the 103.5 FM. Remember, it comes your way weekdays in the morning once it's 7 o'clock. So keep a date and don't touch the dial of Airborne at the 103.5 FM once it's 8:20 this morning. We'll be back with Birthday Splash. Till we meet again, I am Martin. Have a fabulous morning.
The happenings around us get as complicated as they can be.
Our government, whatever.
Street Report is here to make sense of it all. Street Report is causing social change across your streets. In your community. Street Report is here with hardcore journalism to get to the roots of our problem. Why don't you join me, Martin Ifanishku, number the first every Friday, 4:30 p.m. on Epona 103.5 FM as Street Reports unfolds in your face. On Martin Epona the corner 24/7, 24/7.
Hello, Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Friday is the most favorable day of the week. So hook up with DJ Easy every Friday by 9 p.m. on Airborne at the 103.5 FM. This is a program where we bring on to you entertainment and the best of fun, and also give you the privilege to make some music requests. TGIF, thank God it's Friday. Don't miss this every Friday night by 9 p.m. with DJ Easy on Airborne at the 103.5 FM. Hello, Friday.
Okay, guys, thank you. Like, subscribe, and share. Right, hit the subscribe button back here. Check this out. It's on Amazon.com. Hip hop and Igbo culture by yours faithfully, Martin Ifanishku. All right, you rock. Come to Abona FM and pick it up too.